We invite you to listen and grow to this Power Business and Lifestyle Magazine show. With hosts Paul and Deb Rees, experts in business, leadership and lifestyle. Skilling yourself to a successful you. Emotions are your value, and your value is your business. UK Health Radio.
Boom, and we are welcome to your second week of the new year. Happy new second week. Come on, 2023. 14 days in, about that anyway, depending on what time you're listening to the show. But here we are. I mean, for us, it's been such a mental Christmas holiday. You know, we have too many family around, man, all that kind of stuff. But it's great to be here. And listeners, first of all, I want to take this time to thank you for 2022 and 2021 and 2020. And here we are in 2023, and we are still bombing out the radio show on a weekly basis. You know, we are dead loyal to your earworm and everything that you want to listen to. We love it, and we love it. We got a massive year ahead of us, so we're hugely excited to have you with us on a weekly basis. But today we're going to talk about what it always gets talked about, in different versions also, you know, at this time of year, which is New Year's resolution. So I said New Year's resolution. For me, you know, if you have to make a New Year's resolution, then why? Why can't you do it any time of the year? But it's great to be here, listeners, and we have a fab show ahead of us. Of course, I have the wonderful, the beautiful, and everything that I can be. I have Deborah with me today. Deb, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Yes. I mean, why does it have to be Happy New Year? Why can't it be Extravagant New Year?
Profitable New Year.
Mental, brilliant New Year.
Healthy New Year.
Stage diving New Year.
Holiday, glamping New Year.
Arctic Ocean swim New Year.
Yeah, taking it a little bit too far for me.
But you know, why do we have to tell each other it's going to be a Happy New Year? Why can't we just know it? Knowing New Year. So people just say, hey, knowing New Year. Knowing what? Knowing everything is going to be.
It could be. I wish you all you wish for you, New Year.
But then you're wishing the wishes. When you wish for something, it's like you're wishing the wish of it.
Is that a bit like the want of it?
Yeah, exactly. Or the need of it, when it could just be the knowing of it.
But knowing just encapsulates everything, so...
Well, here's my theory. I want to share this, listeners, because I want to share, first of all, my theory on a New Year's resolution, then Deb's going to give her a theory. Here's my theory. My theory is that when you decide to commit to something to the new year, it has to be about what you give out, what's projected out, not what's projected in. What's projected in is an all year round understanding. It sounds like we can't say, okay, Happy New Year for me. My New Year's resolution is I'm going to do this. And, you know, it's fair to say that 99% of New Year's resolutions fail because they are suddenly trying to fracture what is a hugely embedded emotional habit for the sake of I can do this on New Year. Well, no, you couldn't do it last year. You couldn't do it the year before. So all means you're going to do it now suddenly. And you know, it's being realistic about what is a New Year's resolution. So here it is for me. The idea for me is that you select, you select two, maybe three people, and you say, okay, my New Year's resolution is, okay, whom am I going to make a difference to this year where it will substantially make an emotional difference to their life, their worth, their well-being without any return from me? Which means by doing that, they're adding to the emotional economy, they're adding to, the people economy, they're adding to money economy, business economy, life economy, because their growth, their worth is growing. So pick out three people, write those names down and say, okay, they are my New Year's resolution.
That's lovely. By
doing that, the universe guarantees a return because it's now. Here's the thing: it has to be unconditional. Has to, because the moment it becomes conditional, then you've become selfish within that, perhaps, and you're expecting a return. When no, you're doing it in order to add to the economy, which then repays you back. As Branson would say, do good, have fun, the business will come. Do good to others, have fun with others, give to others, not monetary sense, emotional sense, make others feel good, have a higher value, and that comes back to you organically through the universe.
Okay, so if I was to say to you that you could do that, but it wouldn't come back to you, would you still do it?
Well, yes.
It just doesn't come back to you.
Well, then, but you're doing it with that intention, because here's the thing: you'll not know how it comes back. You'll not know how. You just know that by doing this, the feel-good factor that I get for myself by doing that, one, grows me as a person, whilst growing them. Well, that's the intention of it.
Right.
That's the intention.
So the intention is to do for others and be there for others and, you know, emotionally grow them.
You said others. No, not others, because others becomes too crowded. You purposely pick between 1 to 3 people.
Yes, that's what I meant.
Yeah.
That's what I meant. So you pick your 3, you give to them, you know, change their economy in all those different ways, emotional, business, money, whatever.
Well, is it giving or allowing them? So what you're doing is you're allowing them the space for them to see more of themselves, to see a bigger picture of who they are, see bigger opportunities of who they are, see a bigger life of who they are. So it's not about what you're giving, it's about how you're wording, how you're emotionally delivering.
But you're still giving if you're emotionally delivering.
All right, I understand. Yeah, totally, I get that. But it's not a physical thing. You know, any New Year's resolution should never be a physical thing. It has to be an emotional thing, an emotional change. But by planting in the accountability and the complete commitment to your 1 to 3 people that you are going to, and these people are not going to know. Bear in mind, listeners, your 3 people you put on your list, they're not meant to know that you're doing this, because then it becomes conditional, where you are looking for praise. Now, you're doing this in a sense of for them to not absolutely know that you're doing this, but the feel good factor you're giving them will organically make them grow, but also it'll mature you as an emotional person, which means you will organically grow then, and you will get that back. But just between 1 to 3 people max. So if you're someone that is really dedicated, you know, and advanced in that way, do 3. But if it's new to you, 1 will be enough. Just get that 1 person and pick those people that you feel really need that kind of extra emotional, invisible support. That kind of New Year's resolution, that's what makes then for all your micro decisions through the year to come alive and stick. Because this one, it does require endurance, and it does require discipline, and it does require you to really look at yourself, and for you to really see who you are as a person, how you're reacting, how you're responding. And that growth then from there will organically, as I say, bring the return back in so many different shapes or form in what increases your emotional success in your life.
Agreed. But what I'm asking you is if you did all that and you got the feel-good factor by doing that, but you actually didn't get anything back at all, would you still do it?
But that's not possible because how the universe works.
I know it's not possible, but what if? I'm just looking for intent here. Is the intent just to give out? Or is the intent give out and get back?
Well, the intent is to actually use the secret of the universe, use the secret of life. And the secret of life is to when you invisibly, unconditionally help others grow, you grow, they grow, and then there's a return from that into the emotional economy. That's something we can't change, but that is how it works. And if you dedicate your resolution to that process, then everything that you want to better in your 2023 will happen because of the discipline you're putting into committing to yourself and those 3 people, 2 people, or 1 person on your list.
Yeah, sounds like a really, really great way to do your New Year's resolutions. I love it.
And it kind of has purpose then.
Yeah.
Because if we decide, okay, who we're working with, and you pick somebody that has, I don't know, children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren, the teardrop, the the ripple effect of that then goes down to generations. The growth effect of that change, that improve of worth, then filters down generations. But it's,
and that's so much more worthwhile than I'm going to give up the fags.
Yeah, or coffee, or alcohol. All those things are important, but they shouldn't be a New Year's resolution. They should just be a given because it's important for your mindset, body set, heart set, and health. It's important for those things. So that why does that have to be taken up? Yeah. Why should that be taken up as something as profound as this year? I'm dedicating my emotional runway to these three people, these two people, or this one person. And bear in mind, listeners, this is a 2023 commitment. Don't think, I'll do this now, I'll pick this one person and come April, it's done. No. It's a commitment and it'll take a whole year to do this. Then next year, you'll do it again and again and again.
But you know what I think? I also think that you'll get so used to it if you do it all this time. If you do something consistently for 12 months, you're going to get in the habit of it, and I believe that it'll spill out into other people, and it's lovely. It's
beautiful. It's like it's like the old Amway thing. Do you know what I mean? Remember Amway, Deb?
No, we never had it in England.
Amway is like, I suppose it's like the kind of what's the electric and gas company who do like that kind of promotional thing? I can't remember. Anyway, but it's like it has this whole broadband effect, effectively. So when one person does it and sticks to the 12-month, those three people then they'll start to do that.
Right.
And so it has that broadband connection where everybody starts doing it.
So the ripple effect.
Yeah, the ripple effect, absolutely. But you only, maximum 3 people or minimum 1. Just choose one if you need. But again, make sure you stick with it and you have a plan in your head.
Who are you choosing?
I don't know yet. I mean, this whole concept is something that is kind of new to me. I've been thinking about it over these last couple of weeks, and I put it into our groups, our WhatsApp groups, to say, pick your people, pick who it is you want to work with. But when you pick them, they don't know they picked, so I don't know who I'm picking yet. We organically work with each other in that way. As a married couple, anyway. Yeah. We kind of do a lot of that, but yeah. Maybe listeners, me and Deb will kind of get the whiteboard out and pick. I'm going to just pick one. I'm going to just pick one for me, because if I do a couple, I'll find I'll get diluted a bit. So right. I have to, because I'm Taurus, I have to just focus on one thing. Do you know what I mean? Right. So that's how it is for me. But listeners, so we know you're going to pick your people, 1 to 3 people, and then we focus. So we think about then. So let's think about what is important. And this is something that you will know, Deb, is like, okay, so the list of actions, invisible actions that your people, listeners, that you're not helping, that's on your list in the sense of they don't know you're helping. Sorry, right. That's on your list. So how do we approach then the structure of what we need to do, our hidden sort of development process that we need to do in order to, make the most, help those people the most?
Okay, so you'd have to write down a strategy, wouldn't you, I don't know if it's a strategy, but you'd write down a list of the ways that you can help them without them knowing first. Mm-hmm. That's what I would do. Can you help them with a compliment? Can you help them with, feeling better about themselves? Mm-hmm. So you just write down a list, I would say, of how you can anonymously help them.
But let's remember, we're not being judgmental here, because there's a difference in your opinion and a support.
Yeah.
Do you see? Because it's like, in my opinion, this person is this way. Well, but if that's an opinion, that means there is something about that person that you don't like about what you experience, because opinions come from a negative experience. Right. So we think about, okay.
Or a positive experience.
Well, then that's not an opinion in my eyes. If it's a positive experience, then it's something you celebrate out. If it's an opinion, then you're making an opinion of someone in a negative way.
Judgment.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think that, so what you're saying is, Deb, is like, okay, so I've got my 3 people, and now I need to understand the history of what I'm working with, or how I can shape what it is I want to do.
Well, if I'm assuming you're going to know these people very well.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Oh, you have to know your people, listeners. You have to know who you're picking.
So you know them very well. So you know what goes on in their life.
Mm-hmm.
You know what they're struggling with. You know what they're not struggling with. And so I don't think you could sit here today and say, right, it's going to be this, this, this. It's individual as the person, I guess.
What do you think are the prime emotions that you want to be focusing on? If any of our listeners say, okay, I'm going to pick this one person, what is your prime emotions, do you think?
Prime emotions? What do you
mean?
Yeah,
well, is it self-worth, confidence?
Mm-hmm.
Where do you think they should be looking? Because there's always that foundation, isn't it? Because you work with this every day. There's all that foundation of, okay, where do I go to first? What is that alpha emotion?
Mm-hmm. Well, it would be the one that if you've known them you know them very well, then it's going to be the emotion that always keeps cropping up for them. The pattern that keeps cropping up.
But that's tricky, isn't it? Because when you talk about patterns, and I've heard you talk about patterns a lot in the past, they're kind of quite techy, innit?
Patterns. They don't have to be. It can be that your best friend is always picking the wrong guys or the wrong girls.
Oh, okay.
It can be that your mother-in-law really wants to go for a job, but she doesn't feel good enough about it.
Mm-hmm.
Stuff like that.
Okay. Or any kind of relative or partner, that's where we are then.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
You see, in different areas of their life, people have the patterns, and you can just look at a person and see their patterns.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be technical. I mean, you get technical when you get down into them and the whys and wherefores, but an actual pattern is very plain to see.
How do you make then, emotional positive support true? How do you keep it real without being like gushy and synthetic?
By being, I just realised I did that. The people do when they're being interviewed. What was the question?
Oh, let's go again. So, how do you prevent the support from being gushy and false?
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
How do you make it real, but without being obvious either?
I believe that if you look at where the pattern is in someone, say it is, the mother-in-law that wants that job but can't get the job or won't go for the job or whatever, then I would say that you would start to compliment her in a different genre in her life that would give her more confidence to go do that.
That would be great for parents also, that are struggling to be good parents.
Yeah.
Because loads of parents out there don't feel good enough as a parent.
Right.
Or a partner.
Yeah.
A husband or wife, even a child.
Yeah. Exactly. This could be a child, definitely. And with the child you could be more obvious without being obvious.
Yeah.
But yeah. So you look to the pattern and then you see how you can complement that person that will directly influence the confidence in that area of them to go and do that thing.
Mm-hmm. So you have to be pretty open-minded yourself and broad in your thinking with your people on your list.
Well, it's a bit like, I'm just going by the seat of my pants with this because, it's the first, you've said to me. So, and it's great. But I would say that, it's not just compliments. It can be other things that you do. Because if you do the one same thing, like you compliment this person all the time, one, they might catch on. And two, yes, you're helping it in that area, but where else are you helping them?
Okay.
So yeah, it can be a little act of kindness to be like, oh, no, don't worry, I'm going to the supermarket, I'll get this for you. Then it can be just random acts of kindness as well.
So making them feel that they're worth it.
Yeah.
Wow. There's, like I say, I think a lot of it is just emotional common sense, do you think?
Yeah, I think it's heart common sense.
Heart common sense, I like that. That's deeper than what I said. Happy days. I like that. And so what we you know what? I think I know. I'm stuttering because I'm excited about this. I think if everybody saw this New Year's resolution in this way and picked between 1 and 3 people to work with, support, grow, that year, and then repeated, can you imagine this emotional pen pal opportunity would be massive.
Oh, it would change the world.
Wouldn't it be beautiful? But it's fantastic. So listeners, this is what we're going to do. We're going to pop in a quick 90-second New Year commercial, and then Deb is going to come back and talk about her New Year resolutions.
UK Health Radio, the station that makes you feel good. UK Health Radio, the station that makes you feel good.
Hello and welcome back. Yes, it's a new year. 14 days, 15 days, 16 days. How many days it is, who knows? But we're in. And we've been gassing on and going through, the real process, the real beautiful understanding of creating meaningful New Year's resolutions. I've been listening to the radio because I've been doing a lot of travelling these last couple of days, back and forth to our old location and things. And man, the DJs I've got people on the phone and talking about how many people have actually duffed their New Year's resolution already. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. That's because you could have meaning behind it and purpose. Yeah. If it's not purpose, then it's just...
But you've also got to be ready.
Yeah, there is, Deb.
And so when, just because it's New Year's doesn't mean to say that you're ready. People change when they're ready. Yeah. And not before.
We should have an everyday resolution rather than a New Year's resolution, on the basic stuff, but the deep stuff. Let's go. What have you got then, girl?
Okay, so this is what I put on Facebook a few days ago. So,
facing it up.
Yes. So I said, may you manifest this coming year your best life ever by overriding the conditions of childhood. Choose again and again until it's right for you and your worth. Here are my New Year rememberings.
Rory, New Year rememberings.
Rather than resolutions. Right. And I've written here, you're welcome to join me in them if they resonate.
Where will they find us for our listeners?
Deb's Rees.
Deb's Rees on your Facebook.
On
is it a bit of a scroll now to find it?
Or a little bit, but not much.
Okay, scroll away Deb's Rees Facebook and you will find these New Year's resolutions available to everyone.
New Year rememberings.
Oh, New Year rememberings.
But there's also, these are things to remember.
Okay.
Resolve to choose you first. It's not selfish. It's necessary. Strive to remember we are all literally one thing, separated only by different sections of individual consciousness.
Dead man. That is just that's deeper than the friggin' ocean, man.
But listen to it. Remember that we're literally one thing, separated by sections of individual consciousness.
Wow, I don't even know how to visualise that.
Okay. Remember to be compassionate, yet remember, when warranted, to extend that compassion to yourself above another. So you're not just being, walked all over or being, it becomes less compassion when you're not showing it to yourself. It becomes something completely different.
Okay.
Learn to love yourself better. Part of this is in the forgiving others and also in the forgiving of yourself.
Wow.
So when you forgive yourself, you're loving yourself. When you're forgiving others, you're loving others and yourself. Forgiveness is huge. So remember to forgive. Hold on to your past only to the extent it assists you in your growth, then let it go completely.
Wow, Deb.
Realise the majority of people are only reacting to what they have been taught about the world and themselves. The majority react from a fear. Underneath, they are all pure love. Remember, we are only here a very short while, just passing through, so pick your battles, don't sweat the small stuff, and be proud of all souls who inhabit this earth, for it truly is the hardest hero's journey.
Wow.
So that was my 2023 remembering.
Wow, that's out there then, guys. So Deb Rees Facebook, boom, there it is. You will see it on there for sure. What colour's your hair on your Facebook, Deb?
Blonde.
Blonde, it's blonde. Because it has been a few different colours over the years, do you know what I mean? It truly has. But it's blonde now.
It's blonde.
Blondness. Do you know, it does. when we have, so are you saying it's New Year's rememberings rather than New Year's resolutions?
Yeah. It's remembering. It's remembering the deep stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's remembering, the bottom line. That's what I'm saying there.
Okay.
Because it's not so different to what you're saying. You're saying, New Year's resolutions to go out and help 1 to 3 people.
Yeah, yeah.
So you're going out and you're being a compassionate, kind human being.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Well, let's not make it physical though. It's emotional, yeah.
That's what I mean.
Okay.
That's what I mean, emotionally. So we're not far off from each other. We're just saying it in a different way. I'm saying, when I'm saying remember, that we're all the same thing.
Yeah.
What I'm basically saying is we're all the same thing. So be kind, be compassionate. Remember that we're all here doing a hero's journey because it's tough being here. It's a tough road. So be kind, be nice. So I'm saying the same as you.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm just saying it in a different way.
Wow. And do you think that, that the resolutions are kind of, it's losing its value? Because, I remember as a child when we made resolutions, it had some substance to it. But when we said it had some meaning to it.
Yeah.
But I don't believe, I believe that's changed now. We don't stick to things.
No.
People don't, which is strange because.
I mean, you're asking people to change a habit, a really big habit, emotional habit, because all habits arrive from some emotion, so an emotional habit based on 1, not being ready, 2, being kind of forced into it, and 3, we can't even spend 10 seconds waiting for something to refresh these days.
Isn't that crazy?
Right. We got no time, no patience, no, none of that. And we're expected to just go, oh, it's this day, so we're now going to change. No, it doesn't work like that. Change creeps up. Change creeps up.
Is change meant to creep up? Because it changes, they say that, you can just switch your mindset from this to this.
You can.
From one thing to another, and then become conscious of that switch up because we're adults. We know what we're thinking. We should know what we're thinking.
Half the time we don't know what we're thinking. We're unconsciously thinking. Most of the time.
Wow. I was talking to my friend today down there because I went down to listen to some of my one of my best mates. He owns a bike shop, so I was down there today. And when we were talking, we was talking about his business because he's selling up and stuff, and he's wanting to do that. And we were talking about, and he said to me, well, there's worse places I could be, and I'm like, well, hang about. It's not possible to be in a worse place because the place he's in is the worst place he could be because there's nowhere else he's in. And 10 minutes from now, he's in a better place than what he was 10 minutes before because he's thinking forward.
Yeah.
So you can't be in a worse place unless you're measuring what you do against somebody else's worst place that you would never be in anyway because consciously you're living in a different direction.
Perfect. Yeah.
And people say you could be, I could be in a worse place. No, you're in the worst place you could be.
Right.
Even if that place is a good place because there's nowhere else. And I'm saying to him, that's such a contradiction. Because there's no other place you would be. He's like, what? Well, you wouldn't be in another place, I said to him. I said, you wouldn't be anywhere else. This is the worst place. Because it's the only place. But it's your best place also.
That's very deep.
Isn't it? There's no other place. He's like, oh, aye. So I said, well, so don't use the phrase, there's worse places. Because there isn't a worse place. And all you're doing there is trying to justify a procrastination in a decision. When we say, we could be in a worse place. No, you're trying to justify a procrastination there. Yeah,
because you can also be in a better place, can't you?
Exactly. Yeah. Which will be the moment you've thought, hang about, I'm procrastinating. Stop. Now you're immediately in a better place.
Yeah.
And it happens that fast.
Yeah.
And which is the same thing for resolution, It's like...
You just need consistency over that.
Exactly. But consistency is a choice.
Yes.
That's the thing. It's it might say, it's an emotional habit, but it's a choice to make that emotional habit.
Not that emotional change. Well, I believe that our emotional habits we don't have a choice in some ways because it's put there in childhood. But to overcome them, there's a choice.
Yes,
it's a difficult choice because it is. We are creatures of comfort, and we go to whatever's comfy, whether that suits us or not, whether that's good for us or not. We just do the comfort.
You're right. I mean, listen, listeners, we had visitors last night, and my sister came to visit, and she's going through this whole spiritual journey.
Yeah.
And it's like, wow. I mean, bless my sister. You know, she went through a real tough childhood, as you did, Deb. You know what I mean? Real tough childhood. And so, how old's my sister now?
She's my age, so she's 51.
So she's 51, just past half a century there. And now, suddenly, these last 6-12 months, she's just been enlightened with herself so many times and saying things like, I look inward. It's like, what? You just said that? And I think it's amazing that you do get to places where the most unexpected people suddenly become very, you know, they're always spiritual, but remove the broken, perhaps the fracture that stopped them from thinking that way.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, you know, we can see my sister now playing catch up. She's loving it. It's like everything spiritual and all the books and things. Is so amazing to see that, you know, broken human beings can become spiritual human beings again.
I think it's more often than not the broken do become the spiritual.
And do you think that's just part of development, though? You know, I'm coming down. So for the first, 20 years, I want to go through this, which would then give me 20 years of thinking about what I went through, and another 40 years of, pulling in the investment of what I did.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's like that.
Wow.
Yeah.
So we have to go through something.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
And then that going through something then creates what, Deb? A greater opportunity to grow or a lesser opportunity to grow?
A greater opportunity to grow. It's just depending on where you go and what you do with that. You know, we always can grow much more than we do. Much more than any of us do.
Wow.
You know, you can go from a normal human being to a Buddha in like a day if you wanted to. We just don't. We just don't know how to get there. But that's possible.
When you say we don't know how to get there, you mean we just don't actually not open-minded enough?
We don't remember how to get there. And that's what all of this is about. Mm-hmm. This is about, you know, so if that's not going to happen, then what we do is we go through...
What's not going to happen, sorry?
If you're not going to go from naught to enlightenment in one lifetime, you know, which is probably not going to happen, then the second best thing to do is have circumstances which you can grow from and get light from. Mm-hmm. Most of us only grow marginally in a life. And it's, you know, so depressing.
What is marginally? Is that like, you know, how do you measure marginally? So you do think, look at Queen Elizabeth just passed.
Yeah, she grew a lot.
She did? Or did she grow others and was already grown?
Both, I would say.
Okay, so then
But also, no, she grew too. She grew. She had to.
Let's go to the extreme then.
But
Adolf Hitler. So do you feel that he was grown? Do you feel he was mature?
No. I see, going back to Queen Elizabeth, if we can go to her first.
Who was someone that managed millions of people.
She did. But also, I wouldn't say that she's as evolved as some others we could say.
Oh, okay.
Like Martin Luther King Jr. Like, dare I say it, Princess Diana. Like, although I don't think she had the luxury of being like Princess Diana. But then you have Mother Teresa. Okay. These people grew a lot in a lifetime.
Well, you're saying that the Queen didn't grow?
I don't know that she grew as much as them, no. I think the establishment wouldn't allow her to grow.
I see where you are there. So then we go to the other extreme then, Adolf Hitler.
Mm-hmm. I don't think he had any in his lifetime.
You don't think he had any growth?
No growth.
Well, can't grow.
But
because he pulled, you know, and when they're pulling countries together.
Yeah, he pulled a lot of people together, as much as he destroyed.
Yeah.
You know, but also, I mean, it's the little things in any kind of war situation. Mm-hmm. You go into the everyday people in that war. Yeah. You know, and they are saving each other, mm-hmm. and they are feeding each other and watering each other, mm-hmm. and sheltering each other, and you know they're running. You know, I mean, the amount of people that hid people. Yeah. You know, in the Second World War that could get them killed and did that anyway, right? Mm-hmm. And had people in their basements and bunkers and all this kind of stuff, you know, and it's those bits. Yeah. It's those bits that
I think
that
because
grow.
when I think about growth, Deb, it's like, we talk about New Year's resolution. We talk about having our list of 1, 2, or 3 people that we're going to emotionally continue to support throughout the whole 12 month. And when we talk about that talking about that emotional growth. So then, if we switch out another way, so if we look at, I'm going to say movie stars. So some movie stars are exceptionally wealthy.
Yeah.
I mean, do you feel that there's no growth in that because they
No, I think they've got as much scope to grow as anybody else. Like, it doesn't matter whether what your state in life is, what your status in life is. It doesn't matter whether you're really, really rich or really, really poor or really, really famous or nobody knows you. It doesn't matter. You've still got the same amount of growth that's open to us.
Oh, wow.
All of us.
But that growth can come from different directions.
It can.
Different shapes.
Absolutely. Millions of different shapes, actually. But also, there's this thing where there are, I believe, people that do, incarnate, they come here, and they are more evolved anyway, to start with. So, but they come in completely different disguises from, like, the very, very lowest of the low to the very highest of the high. They come, in earthly terms. They are all over the shop. People talk about, there's earthly angels. There is. I agree with that. And they're there. And sometimes they come in and they cause absolute chaos for everybody. But the growth in that is immense.
So as you're saying, Adolf Hitler was the chaos and the growth in that?
Yeah.
I know, listen, this is a very hot topic to talk about, very fragile.
But why not talk about it? Because, you know what I mean? At the end of the day, it's happening, it's real, it's what it is. Just because we say the name, Adolf Hitler, yes, it's a dirty name, yes, it's a dirty word, but surely we have to say it because, by remembering these things and seeing into them and analysing them, we don't commit them again.
Wow.
History saves us, or has done for a long while. But, so I believe that,
So
Hitler came in to be the chaos.
So how do we knit this? So we're looking at, the year ahead and we're coming on and we're diving into New Year's resolutions and things. And then we're looking at, of course, that creating our support system. But then, how are we creating, just bear with me when I deep dive into this a little, but how are we creating a difference with a New Year's resolution? And this is where we get back to the right beginning where, don't make a resolution for yourself, make it for others that will then respond to who you are.
Well, it will respond to who you are, but that's where you're talking about the growth. Now, if you're doing that and you're giving to others emotionally or however way you're giving to others, even if it's something small, then you're growing. Every time you are selfless, you are growing.
Wow. That is awesome, Deb, We're going to jump into another quick commercial here, and we're going to be back in about 90 seconds. So join us back. We'll see you in a jiffy.
UK Health Radio, the station that makes you feel good. UK Health Radio, the station that makes you feel good.
Hello, and we are back. And hello, listeners. And yes, for those who have just joined us, happy new second week of 2023. And you are listening, of course, to Deb and Paul and Deb. We are here on UK Health Radio, and we have been banging along about New Year's resolutions and all these wonderful things.
And how you can do it in a really different way, so you can, you can use resolutions to help others. Which is growth for yourself. And like we ended, just before the break there, by saying, every time you are selfless, you are growing. So the more you don't give to yourself, and don't get me wrong, I'm not talking about self-love. Self-love has to be there first. We're saying you get to a really good stage within yourself, and every minute after that you are selfless, you are growing. I don't mean be a doormat and lie there and do everything for everybody. That's not what I mean. It's like self-love, And people go on about self-love and they don't really know, well, what does that look like? On a daily basis, what does self-love look like?
Maybe stop practicing any form of blame culture.
Right.
It's that improve self-love.
Yeah.
Because you are recognizing that there's no blame anywhere. There's just understanding and history.
Perfect.
That's what it is,
That's
isn't it?
all it is. It takes your understanding and it takes your understanding of their history.
Yeah.
Plus your own mixed bang.
Isn't that crazy that you can diminish the word blame altogether by just having an understanding and an understanding of that person's history?
But that is what I was saying in my New Year's resolution, you see. My New Year remembering.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I was saying. You know,
here it comes. She's just scrolling through this, do you know what I mean?
remember, the majority of people are only reacting to what they have been taught about the world and themselves. The majority react from a fear.
Wow, I think you need to get that onto worldly news and get them to post it out there. You know what I mean? You know, some world leader is going to dive on Facebook and nick those lines, and he or she's going to blast them out, and they'll then be printed all over Google for the rest of their life. Yeah, it won't have, you know, copyright Deborah Sinead Rees in there at all.
No, but then at the end I've written, you know, they're coming from a fear. Underneath they are all pure love, and that's what it is. You know, to get a little bit churchy, you know, church was saying we're born in original sin, meaning that, you know, and although the majority of people don't go to church anymore, it's still instilled in us down the generations, you know, and a lot of people do go to church, so I'm not saying that.
You're opening up a can of worms.
No, there's a lot less people going to church these days than there were 100 years ago, right?
I suppose, yeah.
So
yeah, totally.
But it's still gone down the generations, you know. And if you're born in original sin, then you are sinned before you start.
That just does make sense.
You've got nowhere to go.
It's like if you enjoy, if you've overeaten over Christmas, because everybody overeats at Christmas, and why not? But if you at the end of Christmas, then you know you go on the scales and you find you're half a stone. I mean, listen, I'm a stone, 1 stone 4 pound heavier than I was. But I'm actually the only trousers.
Which is 18 pounds.
Yeah, the only trousers that fit me now are my pyjama bottoms and my stretchy jeans.
I still love you.
That's the only 2 things I can get on. And and in the new year,
It is these stretchy jeans.
Yeah, totally.
He's got them on, guys.
And my walking trousers because they elasticated waist. And I know I've got to put my suit on in the new year because I've got some new contracts coming up and stuff. And it's like I have no idea how I'm going to get those suits to fit me because those trousers are not going to do up. Do you know what I mean? It's not going to happen. But then I also think, coming back to, you know, we do this, but then never regret the opportunity you had to overindulge. That doesn't mean it's not healthy to keep overindulging, but also it's important you enjoy putting weight on and losing weight. You enjoy both ways. You know, by enjoying both ways, it means you'll enjoy both ways of eating. And it's the same when, you know, by saying to yourself, I'm creating this change, I'm creating this support system for me, support system for others. But it's a 2-way New Year's resolution, isn't it? It's an invisible 2-way resolution where I'm helping that person to help me.
Yeah.
Which means, you know, I've eaten too much, now I don't eat so much. And I know it might not fit exactly the same shape, 1 square, 1 round as such, but it's important that...
Well, that's self-love is what you're talking about there, isn't it?
Come out to Christmas and enjoy the fact that, you know, you may put on some weight. Enjoy the fact that you got the opportunity to do that. And you'll have the opportunity to lose it. You know, if that's your wish. I mean, God, you know, as long as you're happy with where you are in life, that's the most important thing. It doesn't matter whether, you know, what body weight you are as a person.
You know, it's what's crazy about the whole thing, Paul, is that you're right. You know, enjoy putting it on, enjoy taking it off, because there's a lot of people in this world that can't enjoy putting it on.
Yeah.
Because they haven't got it. It's like when you're getting older. You know, I got to 51. Millions of people have not got to 51.
Yeah.
I'm so grateful that I've got to 51. You know, I'm so grateful that I can put on weight to take off.
Yeah.
You know, you can look at it like that.
Yeah.
Because there's so many that can't.
Yeah, absolutely. Enjoy, you know,
Half the world wants to be slimmer and half the world wants to be bigger.
Do you know, they say that nothing tastes nicer than being slim. Do you know, nothing tastes nicer than being who you are.
Nothing tastes nicer, can I say, than sponge and custard.
or a roast dinner.
Oh, a roast dinner.
You know, nothing tastes nicer than chocolate for me. I'm a chocoholic. But that doesn't mean that I'm unhealthy. You know, and I have put on, you know, about 18 pounds. And I'm feeling that. I'm feeling that extra bit of weight. But also, you know, I'll enjoy not feeling it. And when I've had enough of not feeling it, I'll enjoy feeling it again. And, you know, they say, is that healthy? Well, I think it's just healthy. You know, you have to have a management system because of the amount of delicacies, beautiful foods opportunities that's put in front of us. So you've got to have a management system, but allow that management system to be a stone either way, perhaps. You know, to be, 12, 14 pounds either way, to say, well, I'm now here and I'm now here. And I have my wardrobe that's got my eating habit that goes plus, and I have my wardrobe that's my eating habit that goes minus.
Perfect.
You know, and that's just such a great way to live.
And it's such a great place to be.
Yeah,
right?
because people are down, I can't do my trousers up. No. Just buy the trousers for that time and buy the trousers for the other time. The slimmer, the not so slim. But neither is ugly, neither is wrong, neither is bitter. You know, as long as you stay within a healthy range, that's all that matters.
Yeah. That's actually a good way of looking at it, Paul, you know.
Food is happy if you want it to be.
Yeah.
And it can be happy while you're losing weight also.
Oh, I don't know. You have to have a real good mindset for that because your appetite is soared now and now you have to, like, catch it.
But that's what's so enjoyable about the experience, see? You're thinking that, Amber, that means I'm going to feel hungry. No, me and you know, actually me anyway, I've never felt hunger.
No, not real hunger.
No, absolutely not. No. But I enjoy feeling empty when I'm in the phase of I'm losing now. I'm now losing the weight so I can get back to the time where I won't come put it back on. And that's what we are, listeners. You know, it's about enjoying both ways of life where your New Year's resolution is to actually give out for it to organically come back both ways in life.
Yeah, that's it. See, if you think of all the rhythms of life, you think about the moon and the tides that go in and out and in, and everything is that rhythm. Yeah. In, out, you know. It's
boot, and it's been a beautiful show. I've really enjoyed it. And as I say it again, happy second week of 2023. And we've had an absolute gossip about everything. I've loved it. Absolutely.
We always do.
We do, man, we do. And, you know, listeners, I'm after the show, I'm packing, I'm going on a hiking and biking trip for a couple of days. I am definitely going to be, I'm going to have a dry January. I did have a couple of beers and things over Christmas, and maybe 1 or 2 blowouts, so I'm going to do a dry January. I bought myself plenty of herbal tea, and...
are these New Year's resolutions, Paul?
No, these are just changes as part of now losing weight, and enjoyment of that. So I don't see these as sacrifices, I see these as opportunities for me to experience the other way, so I can go back at some point to experience it the other way again.
All about mindset.
Yeah, totally.
And being conscious.
Being happy with it. Happy days. So what do you want to say there before we go?
Happy New Year, guys.
Until this time next week, listeners, you have an amazing weekend. Bye for now and boom!
Emotions